Hey guys, welcome to Quinn's Tree Farm, coming to you straight from my cell phone, right from Cornville, Maine. Today, the GoPro is on the tractor and it's charging. I'm trying to get, I only got 19%. I'm trying to burn some brush and some of these Christmas trees that we unfortunately didn't get to sell. I'm going to show you how I do it, and it's not necessarily the right way, but I think it's a pretty solid and safe way to do these things. So the first thing that we did this morning is we went and checked the Maine state fire danger, and today is a class 2 day. It's supposed to rain here in not very long. I checked the radar and it's raining over in Farmington, so we're gonna get started. It's a little breezy, but the humidity is up. And the second thing I did is I went to my local town fire warden and I got a burn permit. So we are legal to burn. In the state of Maine, you need to have a burn permit to burn. And typically we recommend that we don't burn on class 3 days or higher. Well, today's a class 2 day. It is April and it's late afternoon. The second thing that we're gonna do is show you, I typically like to burn by slowly feeding a small pile, as opposed to getting a big pile going and lighting it all off at once. The reason why I do that is because if I need to shut it down to go do something quick, I don't have a lot of stuff to burn, I don't have a lot left over, and I'm not committed for 15 hours or 10 hours or 8 hours to get that stuff cooked down. Last thing that I do is I try to use as little accelerant as possible to get my fire started. And today I don't think I'm going to be able to need to use any accelerant. If I do use accelerant, it's going to be a small amount of diesel fuel. You do not use gasoline. Never, never, ever, 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 ever use gasoline to start a fire, ever. It's not cool. A small amount of diesel or kerosene is where it's at. But today, we're not going to do that. I have a small propane torch. We're going to light a small pile, and then we will start to feed that. So stick around and let's get to work. That's all it's going to take. We'll have a nice, good brush pile, easily controlled, small area, no big deal. Okay, I also wanted to show you my little mini fire truck, so to speak. It's my irrigation tank and then my fire pump, or my water pump, and I'll show you how it works. And this quite literally is the most basic fire engine that you could have. So as you can see, I have my 5x8 trailer. I have my IBC tote. There's 200 gallons of water in there. We filled it up the other night. And then I have my pump. And if you look at the pump, you need two things to pump water. You have to have water coming in. You have to have water going out. All right? And that's what we're gonna use to put the fire out when we're done. And that's what we're going to use to control the fire if we need to. I'll have a nozzle on that. I have it on the trailer over there so I can move it with the truck to wherever I need to go in the field. And 200 gallons of water is a good start to make sure that everything's protected. I can run rings around fires. I can get a fire line and things like that going. Now if you can see, the fire is in the middle of a grassy area. I have my fuel a fair distance away from the fire. And I'm burning on the east side of my property. The prevailing wind, as you can see, is running today from the southwest because the storm's coming up from the ocean. So that keeps my Christmas trees protected behind, right? The fire's not going to travel against the wind very fast. So we have the trees protected. I'm not burning, so it's going to come into that high level of fuel. If you look here, I have my driveway on one side. I have my driveway over here, and then ultimately I have the pavement over there. The upside to that is once it gets to this line here, it's probably not going to spread any further. If it gets bad enough that it jumps a fire line, you've made a really big mistake and you're burning on a day that you should not be burning. So that's where we're at there. Today's goal is to potentially maybe get some of this grass burned up. I want to move that little Christmas tree out of the way and go from there. If I do that now, once it starts raining and sprinkling, it will cool down. The other big thing is picking the right weather day. Today's relative humidity is very high. The air is getting saturated for that storm tonight, so that's a good thing as well. Here, let's go put one on. All right, so it's starting to sprinkle. So I wanted to get this grass burned down before it really gets wet. And it's working out really well. It's a slow creep, and I can control it nice and easily. I got all that tall stuff, and it will burn right down, and then it'll be much easier to clean up. I got my water pump going, my fire truck on a trailer, and then I have my hand tool so I could just run up and down this fire line, and I feel, personally, I feel very comfortable handling this by myself. It's a very creeping fire, and I'm capable, I feel very capable of handling this alone. One thing I wanted to show you though is you notice the direction the wind is blowing. It's blowing, I started to burn on the upwind side. That way it will creep. If I started it on the other side, it would have moved a lot faster, and I might have had a little bit of a problem. I'm going to be taking these corrals out, so I'm not terribly concerned if they get a little bit charred. However, I'm not burning them because they have too many nails and junk and stuff in it like that, and I don't really want to have a burn pile that has a bunch of nails and metal in case I run the tractor over it. Okay, so this is it's 4:45. We're 2 hours into it. It's been sprinkling for a little bit, so we're really getting to the point where the air is quite saturated. I think it's really interesting to see how fire travels, because as you can tell, there's like areas where things aren't burned at all. Most of the stuff that I was burning was still a little bit, it's not dry, and that helps a lot. And then the humidity in the air is really a huge factor on whether or not things burn. Typically, the Weather Service and the Forest Service will issue higher class days when the relative humidity drops below a certain percentage. And that's what you see out west a lot, is really low relative humidities with much higher winds. Whereas if it's humidity of 50, 60, 70% in the air, stuff just doesn't have a tendency to burn quite so quickly. It's not that it can't, but it's just not as likely. And that's where the class days kind of come into play. So we've gone ahead and kind of cleaned around, made a little berm here, so got any of the fine fuels out of the way, and have a dirt area. I'm gonna let this cook down and move over to another pile that I want to get taken care of. All right, guys, so it's about 6:15. We're gonna end this video. We're gonna let this cook down, and then probably about a half an hour, 45 minutes or so, maybe around 7 o'clock, I'm gonna take the water tank and make sure that the fire is completely out before I leave. certainly don't want to get a phone call in the middle of the night saying it's flared back up. Luckily with the rain coming, that should help a lot too. And then we'll call it a day. Anything that doesn't burn is not a big deal. No doubt we're going to have more burn piles over here, trying to get the area cleaned up and things like that, so it will just continue to cook down. So as you know, I'd really rather feel bad in Maine than feel good anywhere else. And right now I feel pretty good because things are moving along and we're getting this place cleaned up. So there you go, my friends. I'll see you soon.